Ever wonder why so many folks seem to be bending their moral compass these days? Today, we're diving into a deep pool of moral ambiguity that's spreading across the United States. It's a murky water filled with the flotsam and jetsam of discarded values and principles. Take a look around. It's hard to ignore the signs. We see a rise in selfish behaviors, an increase in dishonesty, and a blatant disregard for the welfare of others. Recent headlines are filled with stories of people who, in the pursuit of personal gain, have tossed aside the very principles that once guided this great nation. Remember the time when honesty, respect, and integrity were not just words, but values deeply ingrained in our society? Now these important pillars seem to be crumbling, eroded by the waves of moral decay. So what changed? Why are we seeing such a shift in our moral landscape? To understand the present, we must first delve into our past. Let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we? Picture this: a time when the American spirit was synonymous with values like honesty, integrity, and respect. A time when these values were not just words, but the bedrock of our society. This was the America of yesteryears, where strong moral values were integral to the American way of life. Think about it. Honesty was not just encouraged, it was expected. It was the norm. Lying was not just frowned upon, it was met with consequences. Integrity? It was the cornerstone of every interaction, every decision. It was the trust that bound us together as a community, as a nation. And respect, oh respect, was the golden rule. It was not limited to just our elders or our peers. It was extended to every individual, irrespective of their age, race, or social standing. Respect was a universal language that transcended boundaries and brought people together. These values were not optional. They were the guiding principles that shaped our actions, our decisions, and ultimately, our lives. They were woven into the very fabric of our society, creating a strong moral framework that held us together. It's clear then our moral fabric was once a lot stronger. So where did we go wrong? The shift in our moral culture didn't happen overnight. No, indeed, it's been a gradual process, like the slow wearing down of a river stone. So what's been contributing to this erosion of our moral bedrock? Firstly, let's consider the media. Our screens and airwaves are awash with examples of poor behavior being rewarded, of the selfish and the ruthless coming out on top. Reality TV thrives on conflict and drama, often promoting the idea that personal gain trumps all else. Then there's the rise of individualism. Now, don't get me wrong, individuality is a beautiful thing. It's the spice of life. But when it morphs into extreme self-centeredness, when it's all about me, well, we've got a problem. We've forgotten the value of collective responsibility, of caring for our neighbors as well as ourselves. And finally, the erosion of community values. We once lived in close-knit communities where values were shared and there was a sense of collective responsibility. But in today's fast-paced world, it seems we're more disconnected than ever before. It's every man, woman, and child for themselves, with little regard for the common good. These factors, and more, have led to a decline in our moral values. It's a complex issue with no easy solutions, but recognizing the problem is the first step to making things right. It's a slippery slope, folks. One wrong step and we lose our way. But all's not lost, folks. We can still turn the tide. You see, the power to change this moral decline is within us. We each hold the responsibility to uphold the values that have shaped us, that have defined the very fabric of our society. Personal responsibility, that's the cornerstone of a strong moral culture. We can all contribute to the betterment of society by adhering to these values. It's the small acts of kindness, the respect we show to one another, the integrity in our actions, the honesty in our words. These are not grand gestures, but the everyday choices that define who we are as individuals and in turn shape our society. Remember, the change we seek doesn't start from the outside. It starts within us. It starts with you and me. It starts with us. Together, we can restore the moral culture that made us proud to call ourselves Americans. Be sure to hit that like or subscribe button and keep being curious, beautiful, and continue learning. Check out some of my other videos and keep staying curious.